Fear. It's the mind killer. I want to talk a little bit today about being fearful. Yeah, fear is really a very powerful emotion. And a lot of times we will find ourselves directed and in fear of things that are not important. And then there's things that are important that we should be fearful about. Oh, it's so powerful, fear. But you know what happens when you let fear go? Doesn't that feel better? Oh, not so constrained. See, fear, it is such a powerful emotion that it guides everything that we do. And you know, it's like innate to who we are as human beings. It keeps us alive, for crying out loud. And when we have fear overwhelming us, it often stops us from doing things that are productive to ourselves. And so I'd like to, with fear being what it is, we're attracted to it. And, I think that a lot of times with our negative bias, we are attracted to seeing how other things are happening, and it puts us in fear, and then we're like questioning everything about our lives. And it's amazing how we can get overwhelmed with fear. However, fear is also good for us. It keeps us safe. It makes it so that we can, look both ways before we cross the street, because we are fearful that there might be a vehicle coming. It also keeps us alert. If we're in a situation that we're uncomfortable with, it keeps us alert so that we make sure that we're doing, keeping ourselves safe. However, it is also just, it can just completely shut you down. And that's the kind of fear that I want to talk about today. And in case you don't know who I am, I'm Michelle Leivan. I'm an artist, author, entrepreneur, and owner of Art Print Express. And I run into fellow artists a lot who have fear. And I have fear myself that I deal with all the time. And a lot of times some of our fears are just simply fear to go forward, just to make that next step. And sometimes we have to evaluate our fear. Fear is a mind killer, and whenever I think about fear, I always think about that scene in Dune where he puts his hand in the box and he has to control his fear, or he's going to get the Jebediah in his neck. That's, that scene is just really, really, really scary, and it's great entertainment. But there's some truth in that. We have to control our fears and evaluate what it is that we're fearful of, and whether or not it is something that's based in reality, based in emotions, or whether it's just something that it's just the unknown. And that could be some of the biggest things that hold us back from going forward. And so, the idea that we just don't know enough. Just do it. When I first started doing videos, I was so fearful. I sat in front of my computer to hit the go button for well over an hour. And oh, for crying out loud, it was just the craziest thing, because I could edit it. What was I fearful of? Having to do a bunch of editing? No, I was fearful of the eye of the camera right in front of me. And I face that kind of fear an awful lot, just irrational fears. And, you know, there are fears that we should be actually fearful of. Fear is a weird thing, because we can completely rationalize things that we do that have great big risks. Good example, people using their cell phones in their cars. Oh, for crying out loud, that's one of my pet peeves. It can wait. It is not worth the risk to use your cell phone, to look at your cell phone, leave it in your purse, put it in your trunk if you have to. But it's not the worst risk to you or to anybody else. But you know what? There are millions of people that take that risk every single day. And they do it without fear. So they're rationalizing it. And so we need to learn how to rationalize our fears that are good for our fears, so that they are good for us. The cell phone one isn't a good one. Doing something you've never done before and making that happen, that is good. That is a positive step. And so if we evaluate how we go about looking at our fears, often we can go forward rather than going backward or staying still. Because we are creative, wonderful human beings, and every time that we face one of our fears, we become a bigger, better, more vibrant, and more fulfilled human being. And so if you ever find yourself trying to rationalize why you shouldn't be doing something that's actually probably good for you to do, think about what it is that you're really, really afraid of. And once you name it, like I named that eye on the camera as my foe and my fear, source of my fear. So if you name it, it's easier to overcome. It's just like when I talk publicly, a lot of times if I just say, oh, I'm nervous. Well, yeah, that's fear. It's building up inside you, and you just, if you release it by naming it. So that is what I wanted. And fear is such a big, big subject that I'm not going to be able to cover it all today. But hi, Lee, and hi, Pam Schultz, Bierce. So I really appreciate everybody watching, and you can subscribe to me by clicking the follow on here, and I'll be doing some morning ARTitude, and we'll get and we'll have some fun talking about various creative ways to make our lives better. And I'm doing this for all of my artist friends as well as for myself, because sometimes I also need reminding that I need to face my fears and, you know, really actually reason them out rather than just reacting to them. And so that's all for today. May your life be filled with ARTitude.